A long, long time ago, nestled in a quiet valley, was a small village where a poor farmer and his wife lived. They worked from sunrise to sunset in their fields, but life remained a struggle. More than anything, they longed for a child, and their empty home filled their hearts with a quiet sadness. One dark and stormy night, as the farmer walked near his land, a faint sound cut through the wind and rain. It was the cry of a baby. He followed the sound, and there, wrapped in a simple cloth near the edge of the field, was a tiny baby boy. The farmer gently picked him up and rushed back home. His wife was stunned, but a wave of joy washed over her. "Perhaps," she whispered, tears in her eyes, "this child was sent to us." And from that moment on, they raised the boy as their very own son. The boy grew up to be strong, kind, and hardworking. He helped his adoptive parents with every chore, plowing the fields, planting seeds, and carrying water. While others complained about the hard labor, he worked silently, with a patience that seemed endless. And a strange thing began to happen. The crops in his family's field grew healthier and more abundant than anyone else's. The grains were plump, and every harvest was a bountiful one. But this success didn't bring joy to the other villagers. It sparked jealousy. Whispers started to spread. Some claimed he was using dark tricks. Others mocked him openly, or broke his tools when he wasn't looking. A few even trampled his precious crops in the dead of night. Through it all, the young man never fought back. He remained calm, worked even harder, and continued to treat everyone with respect. Then, one year, disaster struck. The rains came and didn't stop. The river swelled, broke its banks, and a devastating flood swept through the valley, destroying all the crops. The fields were left barren, and the villagers had nothing to eat. Hunger filled every home. Children cried, and families sat in despair. Only one person in the village had food left. The young farmer, always wise and prepared, had carefully saved his grain from the last harvest. He had enough to keep himself and his parents fed, but his heart ached for his neighbors. So, he made a decision. Each night, while the village slept, he cooked food and quietly left portions at every doorstep. In the mornings, the villagers would wake up, amazed to find food waiting for them. They had no idea who their secret benefactor was, but this mysterious kindness kept them alive. Yet, during the day, their old habits returned. They continued to insult the young farmer, never once guessing that the hands they scorned were the same hands that were feeding them. One evening, after another long day, the young man sat outside his small hut. He looked up at the stars and thought, "Why is it that when I try to do good, I am met with such hate? Why does kindness seem to bring only pain in return?" But his secret was not entirely safe. An old villager, too frail to work but with eyes as sharp as an eagle's, had seen him. He had watched the young man carrying food through the village night after night. The next day, as the villagers gathered, the old man stood up and spoke in a loud, clear voice. "You call this young man a liar and a cheat. But do you have any idea who has been feeding you all these nights? It is him. Without his quiet generosity, many of you would not have survived." A heavy silence fell over the crowd. Shame washed over their faces. For the very first time, they looked at the young farmer not with jealousy, but with profound guilt. That very evening, riders galloped into the village, bearing the royal seal. They announced that many years ago, the king and queen had lost their infant son during a terrible storm. They had searched the kingdom far and wide, but had never found him. Now, new clues had finally led them to this remote village. As one of the royal guards looked closely at the young farmer, he spotted a unique birthmark, the very same one the lost prince was said to have. The truth was undeniable. He was the long-lost prince. The king and queen soon arrived, their eyes filled with tears of joy as they ran to embrace the son they thought they had lost forever. The villagers, remembering how cruelly they had treated him, bowed their heads in fear. The king, furious at their behavior, ordered his soldiers to punish them, but the young man knelt before the king and queen. "Father, mother, I beg you, do not harm them," he said. "If I could find it in my heart to forgive them when they hurt me, How can I ask for their punishment now? Let us choose forgiveness." The king and queen were deeply moved by his compassion. The villagers wept, truly touched by the prince's boundless mercy. From that day on, he was known not just as the heir to the throne, but as the Prince of Mercy. His adoptive parents, the farmer and his wife, were honored with a place in the palace, where they lived out their days in happiness. And the prince's story became a legend, teaching everyone a timeless lesson: that cruelty and jealousy may rise like powerful storms, but they always pass. What endures, what truly lasts, is kindness, which always leaves behind a legacy of light, hope, and love. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more.